time it is. Marvin Devine, Huber, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice, yeah, I got the juice. Whip game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Fuck it, what they doing, keep on doing. I've been making loot since like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, Axel, and Huber, way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we link up. Let's go. Yeah.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah.
This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. My girl, and say, this is.
Super Bowl is over. And look what I got for you. I got you some candy. Well, where's my candy? This is my go hither look. My go hither look. I'm sorry my teeth ain't there, but my go hither look. What are you looking at my arm for? I told you, don't ask about my arm. You ask too many questions. You're supposed to be the romantic day, the love day, the no sick day. I ain't feeling ill day. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm looking well and I'm looking good and I'm looking great. So what don't you so far over there? Come on over here. Come on over here. Good. Come on over here, pumpkin booby, honey, love, muffin. Oh, it's like that. Oh, you got issues with my illness. Well, you should have been said something. After I got candy, well, I'm going to eat the candy myself. You don't have to worry about nothing. Matter of fact, I got time to look at the show I wanted to look at. I don't even know why I was getting into this thing with you or trying to get with you or anything like that. Because this is a good night, a blessed night. I got red mean a lot of stuff, even the blood. That's right. And because this is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. Hi guys, how are you doing? How are you? Happy Valentine's Day to you. Happy Valentine's Day to you. I hope you are enjoying. Oh man, I got a wonderful guest. Before I introduce him, I wanted to show you guys my one of my new masks that Robin Rochford made for me. He made me some shirts and stuff like that. And you've seen some of his Jesus masks that he made for me in the past. He's really good at what he do. I mean, he came a long way. You know what I mean? He used to just make the skirts for the church when your skirt was too long or your dress was too long for people, you know. But he went way past that. Now he do bags and everything else. But anywho, I just wanted to show that off a little bit, and you'll be seeing me with my shirt from him and my shirt from uh, my other printed shirt. Blessed Kidney Connections was my before I started the Lisa Baxter show. I used to do shows from Blessed Kidney Connection, and that was my website and my company that I help people to connect with what they need, and we're still connecting people. How about that? Now, let me introduce my guest. His name is Mike, but it's also Michael. All right? Michael, I call him Michael the sower, Michael who sows. Okay. All right. He's a disabled veteran. His name is Michael Scott. He's a disabled veteran that retired, right? And he has an invention that he's going to talk about. We're going to talk about a little bit of this, that, and everything. All right. He's a hardworking man, and he has the sleeve of sleeves that can just cover your arm and your access. How about that? I ain't mad at him. Welcome to the show, Michael. Woohoo!
Hello, hello.
Hey, welcome, Mike. Welcome. How are you?
I am doing just fine. I'm up here in frozen Rotunda, Wisconsin, Green Bay, freezing. Yeah, I'm trying to stay warm, but it's kind of hard to stay warm when you're at -15. So
I know that's right. I know in New York, when it's a single digit, it goes below zero sometimes. But when it's a single digit, it's cold. Even when it was 20, it was cold. So I can't imagine. So you better dress warm and stay warm and keep something hot to drink, I guess.
that's it. I stay in the house.
I ain't mad at you. You ain't never lied. Come on here. Come on
Yeah.
here. We're going to drive right in. Welcome. I'm glad you rescheduled with me, and I'm glad you was able to do the show tonight. I'm very pleased, very happy, and I know them out there are happy too. How about that?
Yes, yes. I'm glad to be here. I'm happy that you invited me back. You got me back on the show. I know last time we had scheduled there was some little problems here and there, but that's all worked out, and I'm happy to be
It
here.
is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now we're going to talk about your military. You were in the military, so tell us a little bit about that.
I was in the military back in '88, and I went into the National Guard at first, but then I actually went into the active army back in '90. So I was in Desert Storm. I was in Panama, Germany, Kuwait, Iraq. Pretty much did a little bit of time, a little bit everywhere over the world. So, and then I ended up getting out back in '95. So they told me I had kidney failure when I went to Fort Bliss, and that's what I first found out about the kidney failure.
Wow. Wow. Oh, you like some of my other guests. They just go running to the point. I ain't mad at you. We gonna still drive it and cruise it on down and still get this story out here. First of all, thank you for serving the country. I'm glad you came back safe from Kuwait and Desert Storm and everything. You know, some people don't survive that. Some people come back with different issues and problems. I can't
Yeah.
think of it as PSD or I forgot because my niece was
PTSD.
on the show. Thank you. And she talked a
PTSD.
little bit about that, Dr. Webster. Okay,
Right.
right. So I'm glad you survived that. What was your position in the army?
I was a communication specialist. I got up to the E4 in the army because when you come out of the National Guard, and you go into the regular Army, they knock you down a couple of ranks. I would have actually got out of E5, but they put me down one rank, and that kind of kept me in there around the E4 time when I got out of there. So it's a specialist. I was a communication specialist, and so I had good times. So people say that it's hard. It's hard times, and yeah, I still have some. I still have a little PTSD from being over there dealing with what we was dealing with, but overall, life is still great. It's better to be above than down below. That's what I see.
I ain't mad at you again. Now, when you deal with something like that, do they give you any type of help or assistance while you're dealing with this?
Well, the VA actually take care of ever since I started being diagnosed and started dealing with the VA system. The VA actually take care of everything dealing with my even with the kidney situation. They took care of everything. The transplant, they paid for everything. Flew me out to Pittsburgh and got the transplant about a year and a half ago, and they still today take care of everything. They basically retired me and said that you no longer got to work, but can't sit around and do nothing. So
Right.
I came up with some ideas and been working on it ever since.
Don't worry, we're gonna get into them ideas because I don't want them to miss a beat when it comes to you because you did such a great job and I'm very proud of you. My father had to come out of the Army for the same reason when he got polycystic kidney disease. He never went on dialysis, but his kidneys ended up working 8%.
Right.
But they can do things like that to you and for you. But in the same breath, at least they take care of your medical issues and bills because some people have trouble with insurance, especially when you have this type of illness.
Right.
Okay.
That's true. I know some people that had issues. I actually, since I've been, I learned a lot about the VA system. So I actually started helping some other veterans' wives that had some issues for as getting connected with the right people. So I've been kind of like took on the other little thing where I sit there and help people. I guess you call it advocate for people to try to connect them to the other people. So we all got to help each other get where we need to be. So that's how I feel about it. And I've just stepped in and helped the lady get her to the right person so she can get her benefits from her husband who had issues when he was in the military. So,
ooh, okay. Wow. So that's
I've been through the rigmarole you have to go through when you're dealing with the VA. So I know the ways around it.
good because I'm gonna have some questions for you later on. All right. There's some things that hit me in the head when it came to my father. All right. So I ain't mad at you again. I ain't gonna stay mad at you, don't worry. But anyway, all right. Well, besides that, before we get into your business, did you have any other employment jobs before we going right in?
Well, right. I used to have actually when I first came out of the military, I was working with the casinos. I was the account room manager for Ameristar Casino, and I ended up in Las Vegas, Omaha, Nebraska. For years, I used to go around setting up count rooms for for Ameristar Casino. But then once I moved here, I started working for the Kellogg company. I was working for them for a little while, and also Nabisco. Be right around the time when they told me that my kidneys were getting worse. About 3 years ago, that I decided that it was time to give that up and go on dialysis because I was at like 13%, and I know they say you got to be on the 10%, but I'm like, well, I'm getting there anyway. I might as well just go ahead on and go to find out what I needed to do for that process. So I kind of retired myself and went on dialysis because I was getting down there anyway. So
you work for the cereal and the cookie company.
Right.
But
right.
but okay, so you retired yourself because I was going to ask you about how did work affect how did dialysis or kidney disease or kidney failure affect your work. But if you retired yourself, we're going to go right into your dialysis story. So give us before we go into the transplant, we're going to go into the dialysis story first. So give us your experience on that, please.
Well, when I was out in Rochester, Minnesota at the time, and I was working for the Nabisco company at the time, and also one of the Hy-Vee stores out there. I was doing work with them too, and it was like I started getting to that point where you start feeling sick, and like you get that nauseating feeling all the time. So it was like, you know, I basically decided, put in my notice, and say, you know what, this is where I'm at. Talked to the store manager that actually gave me the opportunity that I had with that store, and I just let them know that I have kidney failure and I'm getting more and more sick every day. So I believe it was time for me to start pursuing and looking at dialysis because eventually I could have kept working for probably about another 6 months, but why prolong? Kind of like, to me in my head, it was, why prolong the torture of being feeling sick all the time? So
Wow.
at that point, I talked to the doctor up in Minnesota, and that's what I went through. I was going through the VA system up there, and they just told them that, hey, I need to start figuring out about what to do for his dialysis and get prepared for that. And I already prepared my family for it. So I was like, well, let's do it. Let's do what I need to do because I got no other choice. I can't fight it and keep pushing it off. Why sit around and feel bad when you can feel good?
Well, you prepared your family. I like that. You said you prepared yourself and you
Yeah,
prepared your family. You don't know how
right.
many people are secretive about that. And a lot of people are secretive before they get on, when they're told the news, and even after sometimes. I have people in
Yes,
the family like that. I'm an open
right,
book myself. You know what I
right,
mean? But I like that you
right,
prepared yourself for it. You know,
right.
and
And that's what, Lisa. That's why I recall the lady like a year ago saying that about my sleeves. She said she didn't want to advertise, and I'm like, and I sit there and told her, I said, advertisement got me a kidney. If I didn't advertise, I would be still on dialysis right now. And when you in this situation, it's by every means necessary. Don't be ashamed of what it is. You hear. We all go through stuff. So I say, yeah, I'm gonna advertise. I told her, if you don't want to advertise, I advertise for you. I'm not scared. I'll
that's
talk to
right.
anybody. I would
Come
talk
on
to
here.
anybody. So that's why I
I
was like,
know. Hmm.
you got to tell people. Don't be afraid for people knowing that this is where you at in life. If you sit around and feel sorry for yourself, where are you going to do? You going to feel the rest of your life feeling sorry for yourself, or you going to just get up off your butt and say, it's time to do something? And that's pretty much what I did. After I moved over here to Green Bay, and I was on dialysis here at the VA system, and I just said I was enough. I put magnets on my truck, and I just started advertising every way I could. Didn't know what I was doing, but I just started advertising. I had magnets all across my truck, my daughter truck. I was to
So
start
you came up
advertising.
with this idea yourself.
Right. I came up with it. It was like, I got to do something to get it out that I'm looking for a kidney. And then the news, Channel 2 News up here picked it up. They drove by one of the girls, Emily drove by, and she seen the sign, and she gave me a call. First, I thought she was a prank, but somebody trying to scam me.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like, no, I'm with the news company. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. The news people calling me. Yeah. But yeah, she was legit, and everything's history at that point. I started advertising, and I ended up with about 130 people emailing me, calling me, basically saying that what type I needed and when it needed, how you supposed to get tested. I still right now have 129 names in a little book in my room that are people who wanted to donate. Now, and I know with the Privacy Act and all that stuff, but it's like, to me, another reason for this business is to get the word out that
Oh, yeah.
living donors, yeah, you can wait for that list of 600 people on that 600 list of donors list. Why wait? Let's get the word out. Let people know that, hey, you can help somebody make a better life, and that's what I wanted to do. So that's technically what I took this business to, that I created to basically put the word out. I will talk to anybody. I've talked to people in Canada, the UK, Argentina. Ever since I've been started doing all this and then doing what I've been doing with this business, I've been talking to a whole lot of people. I'm trying to go
That's what you got to
global.
do.
go global and let people know that we all in this together. And if we don't help each other, who else gonna help us?
You got to do it that way. You know what I mean? I believe in that. I mean, I used to write to, people in China. I wrote all over the place about Blessed Kidney Connections, the Lisa Baxter Show. I've been doing that for over 10 years, writing, emailing, regular mail. And you got to do what you got to do. Now, what did your magnet say? Was it catchy? Was it a phrase, a poem, a rap?
It basically said, my name, Michael Scott, and by having the name Michael Scott, that's already put you like in a whole nother category with that office show. So everybody, they see Michael Scott, and first thing they say, "Hey, have you seen that show?" I ain't never seen the show, but I've heard a whole lot about that character. So, but I was like, well, I put my name on there. Basically said dialysis. A disabled veteran looking for a kidney. I put my blood type on there and went with a phone number and said, call. So after we did a advertisement, basically after I did an interview with Channel 2 News, Channel 2 picked it up, and Channel 24, Fox News picked it up. I had people calling me from actually in the UK. I had one guy talking about he wanted to fly over the next day, and I'm like, it don't work that way. I'm dealing with the VA. He said, if I can get on a plane, I'll be over there the next day. I'm like,
wow.
So I'm like, I'm glad you feel that way, but you just can't fly over the next day. You got to get tested and get all the other stuff. So
that's so true.
It's a whole process to get tested. So, but the first girl that lived in Shawano was Amy, was my donor, and she tested. She was a perfect match. So she was the first one and got everything set up in October 2019. I was in Pittsburgh doing a transplant. So I'm very thankful for her.
Being a vet might maybe that could help, because sometimes people say wording or different things that you use can get the person. Whatever it is, we just glad you got the person, but because you never know what touch a person's heart. Now, before I go back to your donor, were you sick on dialysis? You went 3 times a week. Did you have a fistula or a graft? Tell us a little bit before I go into the transplant.
All right. I went in when I first started. I had the port right up here. And when I first started, the first time I had dialysis, I ended up, I was cramping so bad that I was still cramping the next day. I was about 12 o'clock the next day. My legs was cramping, everything. Right, the catheter. And then at that point, I went back to the dialysis unit. It was the Vita dialysis unit. And I went back and I told them, listen, we're going to have to come to terms with something. And people need to understand, you have rights. If something ain't going right, they pulling too much fluid off of you, you need to say something. I sit there and tell them, I say, it's 2 things. Either y'all going to listen to me and we going to work together, or I'm going to go find another unit that is going to listen to me. And I say, because I've been cramping for about 12 hours. When I got done, about 12, 18 hours cramping, my legs was cramping and I was just in pain. I told them, like, we need to stop pulling. Y'all going to have to get to a point where we're going to have to come to terms and try to pulling. Because I was like, I'm still going to the bathroom. Y'all need to stop trying to pull that much fluid that y'all doing, because if I'm still cramping in pain, this ain't worth doing. And they I talked to the doctor, and they kind of agreed to what I wanted to, how I wanted to do the whole process, because it wasn't worth me being in pain. If I'm going to, you sitting there being in pain, say something. That's why I know I talked to some other people, and they was like, man, I'm still cramping. You need to tell them they're pulling too much. They need to back off.
Take that pull off.
But the biggest thing is to try to make you have a quality of life, not sit here. Yeah, they're trying to save your life, but if they putting you in pain, then that ain't saving your life. That's torture to me. And that's what
give you any fluid back.
Right. Well, that's what they started. The next time they started adjusting the fluid level and basically saying, okay, well, you're still going to the bathroom. This is what we're gonna do. I say, yeah, because I'm telling you right now, either you go do something or I'm gonna do something. And if I do something, it's gonna be going to another unit because somebody gonna listen to me. That's just yeah. I'm no doctor, but I know my body. And if you put me in pain, it ain't worth me doing this. So they listened
Advocating for
and
yourself.
right. And that's what I've been doing for ever since I went through that experience. I run across somebody, I'll tell them in a minute. If they putting you in pain, you still cramping when you get ready to leave that unit, you need to tell them, you need to tell your doctor that they're pulling too much. They need to adjust it, bring it back down, work it out some other kind of way where they can get the fluid off of you. But it ain't worth you going home and first thing you do, you get home, you stay in bed all day because you're cramping.
No.
So
I
that's
would stamp mine out. I would try to rub it out, kick it out a little bit. I used to
right,
hate that.
right.
Whoop.
But
Mm-mm.
and then when I moved over here to Green Bay, that's when I got back into the VA system because I wanted to be in the system that got me in this whole thing anyway. Because I want people to listen to me. You know, being a veteran in the veteran system, I felt better that they'll listen to what I had to say versus Davita. Because personally, myself, Davita wants to check. They was getting paid from the VA for me to be there. I'd rather be in the VA where people ain't really they there because they here to help you, not here to cash a check. I just felt like DeVito was trying to cash checks and they really didn't care. And I was like, forget it. I'm going to the VA system where I know they're there to help the veterans. So,
Wow.
but
Well, that's a wise, educated move. You know what I mean? A lot of people out to make money, and sickness is a big bill, a big thing
industry,
for so many people that benefit from it. The
right,
sick people not benefiting anything but hopefully good or better health or
right,
better care. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Wow. All right.
right.
So now we're gonna move to your transplant. You said good old Amy. Whoop whoop. Thank
Yeah,
God for the donors that's in the house and the donor
yeah.
that dedicated and donated to you. So talk about that something.
Eh, Amy, she's from Shawano, Wisconsin. She was a little something, about 5'2". She just a little small little lady, and the nicest person that honestly that when it comes to meeting a lot of people, she to me right now, she's not only a friend, she's friend. We're family right now. We got to the point where when I met her, and we talked over that period of time before the transplant, we got to know each other really well. And she's a very nice person. Ain't nothing on this planet I wouldn't do for her. So it's like she went out of the way. She went to Pittsburgh. She did everything, and she saved my life. To me, she's my guardian angel. She got me back to where I can do what I can do now. I can do for other people and pass it on to try to help other people. Now, and that's my biggest thing. I want to get in here and get to where I can take this business that I created and have it where it's actually helping people, doing things, connecting people, and getting the word out because it's time to get the word out. It's time for people to
Yeah.
understand that. I met a guy in Rochester when I used to work for the store. He said he had 4 kidneys. He was born with 4. And I'm like,
I
you
know.
got 4 kidneys. He said, yeah, I got 4 kidneys. You want one of mine? I'd say, well, you got to go get tested. But if you're the right match,
Wow.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. I'm not going to say no if you're the right match. But it's like you don't know what the other situations that people are in, and they just don't know how to help you. So now I feel since I learned that from over these last years, I'm going to do my best to put the position where people like Amy or these other 129 people I have in this book I have back in my room, information of the people that wanted to donate. I'm gonna try to start connecting the dots, put them with people so they can start helping other people that might want to do. They can why help veterans? Let's help everybody. Let's bring everybody to where we can get to a point where we offer dialysis and back to a decent quality of life. You know, That's where it all comes
That's
down.
what it is.
It all comes down to quality of life for me, and
Yes,
being
and
to have.
that's a big thing. Now, your invention. Let's talk a little bit about your company and your invention, and the fact you make people laugh. I see your jokes to help depression. You know what I mean? I mean, man, you advertise with the magnet. You went on the news, and all of these things can get results. So people take notes. Listen. But talk about
Right.
your business.
I started right before I got ready to go down to Pittsburgh, and I met a guy because I still had my magnets on my truck, and I was at Taco Bell. I met this guy. He walked in, and I can't remember his name, but he said that I seen your truck out there, and you had the magnets on there, and you needed you needed a kidney. I said, yeah. He said, yeah, I was on dialysis, and he got to end up getting a kidney. And what kind of made me create this sleeve, I still wear mine. I work out in it because it keeps my arm in check. And I work out in it trying to lose this 30 pounds that I gained since I've been on dialysis and over these last years. So I'm trying to get down to where I can lose that. But when he came in, that vein in his arm, when he put his arm down, it stuck out like way out from under his arm. And I'm like, whoa, what's that? He said, "Oh yeah, the vein, the fistula, it will keep growing." And I was like, it'll keep what?" He said, "It keeps growing if you start using your arm." I said, "Yeah, they told me about not don't use your arm that much because it might make the vein get bigger." After I seen his arm, this is why I created this because I was like,
Wow.
"Nope, not me. I'm not going down that road. I'm gonna find something that I can put on my arm to protect my arm." Keep it from basically keep it in check. Now it's very light compression because technically you control how tight you put this on. If you go get
Yeah.
one of those compression sleeves that they have online, you can't control that. You can't control the tightness of it. And that's why I came out and made this. After I went through about 2 bolts or 3 bolts of fabric, this is pretty much what the end result was. Because I taught myself how to sew. I didn't know how to sew. I went and bought a sewing machine and sit down for hours and hours before I went to dialysis for Pittsburgh, before I went to Pittsburgh to have the transplant and trying to figure out how to make this sleeve where I wanted to actually be able to take it off, keep it loose, and do things that I needed to do what I needed to do. And I also be able to advertise. Like my biggest thing is if I'm in an accident, a lot of times people don't understand that they give you the emergency bracelets. A lot of times you might lose that in the accident. I'm not losing this in the accident. It stays on.
I'll tell you.
That's it. It stays on. I
Yes.
control where it does. So it stays on. And when somebody see it, they're gonna know that this arm is an issue with it. They don't know that there's a fistula in here. The medical people are gonna know that they can't use this arm, but they can use this one. And that's why I did what I did. I made this here. I put the medical system on it, medical symbol on it, and I put fistula at the top. Now this one here, I got more advanced. I put the hot and cold pack. I have a zipper where you can put a hot and cold pack in it because sometimes when you get done with dialysis, your arm you need a cold pack to keep swelling down, or to the point where you might need it to keep it. You might be in pain. You might want to heat a pack and put it in there. So I created the little pocket for the hot and cold pack on it. And this is basically the latest one that I have out right now. I still have the other ones that you want, but this is the one that I have out there right now that's for doing pretty well also. So my goal is to help people.
That's fantastic. We
and do
be
stuff.
trying so many things to come up with things to help people. You know what I mean? I one time when I was talking about something about the arm thing, they were saying, well, they already got exercising things and all of that. And I'm like, you're trying to shoot whatever idea you have down, but I like that you didn't let nobody shoot your idea down. You even learned how to improve on it, adding the hot and cold pack, The fact that it got
Right.
the medical thing on there, because so many people would, they even nowadays, even though I don't use my fistula, it still works. People always look to jump on it. I'm like, the medical profession should know not to bother that. They're asking me. Suppose I couldn't talk. You supposed to know
Right.
not to bother it or touch it. They be
Right.
asking me, and I'm looking at them. You know, I'm looking.
Right.
You know.
Right. I went in to do my blood, and the girl was the one in the nurse like when she carries her. I'm like, whoa. You can't get blood from his arm. She said, oh, well, I'm new. And that's the whole thing. A lot of these people, some of these people are new. They don't know.
Training. Right. They
They
might
just came
not,
out
you
of
know, make an
training.
honest mistake.
Right. I'm like, okay, but no, you have to take it from this arm because I have a fistula, and I explained it to her. Like, I have a fistula in his arm, and you can't take blood. You can't put a needle in his arm. You can't do nothing in his arm. You can now this one here, you can attack, do whatever you want to do to it. But this one, no, no, don't even mess with it. And I explained it to her, and she understood. And that's what you might run into. You might run into a person that don't know what a fistula is. You know, even my patent lawyer, when I talked to him about the whole thing, went down and had a meeting with him, he was like, he called it the fish doula. It's like the fish doula. I'm like, no, fistula. You know, fish doula? And I said, I was like, what? You call it whatever you want to call it, just give me a patent. So,
I know that's right. Come on here. You
so that's
talking
it.
right.
And people don't know. People don't know about what it's
Stuff.
really about. And it's like for me, I feel like people like me, you, Steve, all of us, and all the people out here with the shows and trying to bring awareness to this issue. We need to get out there and do it because people need to understand that this is something that is not only needed to get your odds of having a good kidney transplant is to find a live donor. A live donor, yeah, you might get a cadaver kidney, but the percentage of your kidney, the kidney working and staying with you over the years is with a live donor. You have a better percentage of that kidney not failing and staying with you with live donors. And I'm an advocate for find you a live donor. Let's get people connected to what need to be connected so people can get back to life. I hated that chair. I used to sit in that chair, my doggone butt started hurting. I'm like, man, I got to get out of this chair.
Back, everything.
Yeah.
You try to stay busy in the chair. I would read, I would pray, I watch television, listen to music, call family, look at the text, did business in the chair. You're in there long enough to do so many things.
Right.
But you know, having the getting it, I had it in the groin when I had to first get dialysis. So I mean, it's good that they would have gear for all of those things. I used to think about that when I first got on. You know, when I had, you know, the thing in my chest here, had it in the groin. I mean, it'll make it easier than having to wear shorts sometime. And like you said, it's below zero or whatever over there.
Right.
So you know what I mean. You would want gear that will make easy access and sanitary for you to be able to do the treatment. But I just love your ideas and stuff.
Right.
Where can they get this, or how can they? I see Steve put your stuff up there. But if you want to say anything or add an email, whatever you want to say is fine. Where can they get one?
They can go out to my Etsy shop. It's up there on the screen. They can go out there.
Right.
They can also go to Dallas's Warrior Gear at yahoo.com and leave me a message. And if they can't find how to get to the site, I will send the site information to them. I also, you know, I know we're probably getting close to the end of the show, but I invented a couple other things that I might want to let you know out there that it's hopefully they'll be out on the market and doing pretty well. Let me see here. This one right here, if y'all can see it, it's a hot and cold band and pad. And what it is you can actually take it and instead of sitting here holding it, you can put it in the microwave and wear it and put it on your arm, put it on your leg, put it on your ankle, I have the one that you can put on your calf, your knee, and it's what it is. It's a rice band that you put it in the microwave or you put it in the freezer and it'll do the job. It'll work on that soreness that you have. And then I've been working on other little things that can help to help the dialysis patients that I feel that might be needed down the road, and hopefully, people will start looking at that and say that might be something they need down the road because that cramping and swelling. My goal is to make products that people need that's on dialysis, and even if you're not on dialysis, if you just on kidney transplant, heart transplant, any kind of thing dealing with the fact that you cramping or you need swelling, you got my whole thing was make products that's going to help people. So that's my next thing on the market is this here is the rice band for either heat or cold.
Wow. Good job. Well, I told you to pull anything out that you wanted to pull out. So that's
Right,
all right too. You know what I'm saying? Is there
right.
anybody that you can encourage out there? Maybe they're an inventor. Maybe they're have a situation from the military. Whatever it is, what can you say to them? Give them some encouragement before you give your shout out.
Right. My thing is they if it comes down to the point where they military and they need information, go out to my email and leave me a message. If I can find out, if you can't find it, if I can't find it, then it may not be out there. But then I'll do what I can to help you get to where you need to be. That's what we're here for, helping each other get where we need to be. So
Excellent.
yeah,
Fantabulous.
and the ones that are out there trying to invent stuff, don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. My dad every time I used to tell my dad I couldn't do something, he used to sit there and say, you stay there until you figure it out. And I
Mm.
figured out a whole lot of stuff in life that I could do. So I don't say can't anymore. I stopped saying can't about 25 years ago. So get out there and do it and go for it. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't get it done. You can get it done.
Wow.
You gotta connect with the right person. And if I'm the right person, you need information, I will give you all the information in the world that I have.
Beautiful. Now, who would you give a shout out to? Who? Anybody you want to say anything to? A friend, a
Honestly,
family?
honestly, my shout out would go out to Amy because Amy was my angel who came out of nowhere and actually gave me hope. And yeah, she gave me a kidney, but she gave me hope. And that's one of the biggest thing that we lack in when we dealing with kidney failure, heart failure, liver failure. You get to the point where you lose hope, and that's where we need to get back. So my goal, my shout out goes to her and also to my family because the fact of the matter is, although they stood behind me, when things wasn't going right, they was there to go through some of the things I went through, and that's that was one thing you need. You need support.
Yes.
We all got it. If you can't find support at home, you need to find somebody to give you support, and that's why I'm out on Instagram. I'm out on Facebook. I'm putting out. The reason that I started putting all my jokes out there was the cause one day back in around November, I was going through rough times, and it was just like, man, it's just so depressing. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I went out and started finding jokes, and I put jokes out on my Facebook. I put jokes out on the Instagram. And I put jokes on every site I can put. I put jokes out there on Twitter. I'm like, somebody at one point of your life, you're gonna go have 1 second where you can just let it go, depress, let it go, let what's going on in your life, what's that trouble in your life, you can let it go and laugh, have a good laugh for that 2 or 3 seconds. And I'm gonna keep putting jokes out there every day until I can't type and learn until I can't figure out how to work a computer no more. I'm gonna keep putting jokes out. So you can everybody who's out there that out there on my Facebook, keep looking for the jokes because they're coming. And
Well, I've been sharing them.
some days it's gonna
I've
be
been
multiple
sharing them.
jokes. Right. That's it.
I giggled and I laughed. And
And
I
Lisa,
thank you for
that's it. We gotta, you pick it. I put them out there. You share them with somebody, and that's what we gotta do. Bring some little joy into people's lives, so we can
it.
let them know there are people out here trying to help, and make your life better. And we're gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it until they tell me I can't do it no more. Even if
I know that's
I get
right.
to a point that I'm in a wheelchair, I'm gonna still be doing it. So
Do your thing. Do your
I'm
thing.
gonna
That's
do
what you got to do. And that's probably your calling, brother. Your calling. Well,
it.
we're
Right.
going to end the show now. I got to give my scripture and I got to give my person for next week. But I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on, giving us all you got. All right. Because you hit it out the park. I ain't mad at you. And I thank you. Happy
Thank you.
Valentine's Day. Happy Sunday. And be blessed. And happy Black History Month. How about that?
All right. Thank you. Same to you, Lisa. I appreciate you having me on the show. And I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm coming out with ideas to help and make sure people understand. All my products is to help get the word out. To help people
Family
get the
now.
word out. So they can go out there to my site, go out to SD and look at it, and to the dialysis site out there, see what the items I got out there. I even got cushions out there because them 4 hours in that hard care. I made cushions because my
That's fabulous.
Thank you for the
Well,
show.
all right.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And good night and enjoy your evening. Guys, this is what I'm going to tell you tonight. All right. 1 Corinthians 13 and verse 2. I may have the gift of inspiration and preaching and knowledge and understanding, but if I have no love, I don't have anything. Now that's the Bible. How about that? So we need love, even though we got all this other stuff. Next week guest is Overseer Pastor Cheryl Anthony, and she's with Judah International, and she has a woman faith group and some of everything. A woman to be reckoned with, a hardworking woman. So you be well, you be blessed. V for victory, and even Valentine's. Love you much, and thank you again. Good night.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah.
My girl, and say, this is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney one. My girl, and say.